To 93 streamed best ball drafts in 2024. Today's another jaunt to World of Best Ball Mania. And the exciting part, mandatory camps are going on. This might not be the case next year. The player's proposal goes through where training camp will start a little bit later. It's a key information cycle this year in best ball, so let's enjoy it. Perhaps the last time we have it. Of course, I'm already in a draft room here in the 3-hole. It's going to be an exciting and electric draft today is the current title in the video because I didn't know it's put as a title on the video this morning. But of course, another draft here. We're going to try to have some fun, even though we are being stalked by a man who won't pay $5 for a membership, but insists on being in more draft rooms than anybody. The much-hated Jeremy in the 6-hole. He's going to catch a ban live on video today if he doesn't hit the join button on stream. A rare chance for me to get Tyreek Hill in the 3-hole, and I'm going to do that. I've not gotten a lot of third picks overall in drafts so far. Tyreek, a guy I do have all the faith in the world in heading into this season, heading into a year for him where he's holding out right now. Has been confirmed by his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, that he does want the big payday after last season. Reports were that he's been grousing for one since the end of the 2023 season. So Waddle got paid. Now it seems like they have to pay Tyreek. So you could add him to the group with CeeDee Lamb, with Jamar Chase. Those guys are going to be happy to see that those contracts were signed by Justin Jefferson because now they know the price point, and we'll see if they get more than Jefferson or less. If I had to guess, I would think that Tyreek would like to get more guaranteed, I think would be his hope at his age especially. But with his age, maybe they do discount him a little bit, so I don't think that's a lock. Jamar Chase is playing for the Bengals, so he's most likely to get screwed in terms of the contract offers that he gets. I think it's going to be hard for him to pass Tyreek Hill, or to pass, Justin Jefferson, and honestly to pass whatever Tyreek Hill gets as well. Because also if they pay Chase, they have the double-edged sword where they're definitely going to then piss off T. Higgins even more. So that's something that wouldn't be the best. CeeDee Lamb, I think, has a shot to beat Justin Jefferson because you could make the case that last year CeeDee Lamb became the better player of the two. I don't know that I agree fully with that. I guess you could point to the QB play that Jefferson had to deal with, the injuries Jefferson had to deal with. There's certainly reasons why he would have a down year relative to CD, but CD made a big leap and could make the case. So if I had to guess, CD has the best shot of breaking the contract right now. Chase, because of the team he's playing for, less likely. I think Tyreek Hill I'd put ahead of Chase. He'd be my number 2 pick to set the record for non-QB contracts in the NFL. I feel like people overthink Tyreek. It's true. I mean, he's a little bit older. I get that, but the way he was used, I mean, he was targeted 38% of the time he was running a route. So ultimately for me with Tyreek, like that's the main thing is that if you're going to be targeted that much, that's a level that we don't even see guys hit in college, let alone the pros, and everybody else who's great in the league is getting targeted 30% of the time. Now, can that flatten out? I kind of think it will, where to me, Waddle can come down to 25% target per out run. Tyreek can come down to, I don't know, 35%, 33%, and still be getting targeted more than the average bear, not the actual bears, but including guys like Keenan Allen to get targeted about 30% of the time as well. They're running a route. So he's got room to come back down to earth there. And when you add in, 3 weapons, they added Odell. I know people don't love Odell, but they did add him and pay him decent money. They added Taj Gibson. They added Malik Washington, Taj Washington rather, Malik Washington as well. Not Taj Gibson, the aged NBA veteran center. They added guys like that can earn targets, whether they be downfield for Taj, whether it just be the close to the line of scrimmage targets like Malik. So you could see Tyreek kind of come down a little bit just from the fact that this offense seems like it doesn't want to go entirely through Tyreek. How much they're paying Waddle too, like you kind of have to justify feeding Waddle a little bit more, I would say. GMs, indeed. Shout to all the paying members here you guys can hop in occasional drafts. People there that want to try to be in every one and don't become a paying member. Downzo, Dunzo, Deadzo to me and my heart. You can see my rankings on the screen right now. It put me with Nico Collins. Getting a share of Nico with a bet on Miami does seem kind of fun. I think the Achane angle, the Waddle angle, a little more safe, a little more comfortable. But let's just get a share of 2 really great offenses. I do have Nico ranked 2 picks ahead of Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith, I think, is a better play overall than Jalen Waddle. If we're going to bump up one wide receiver 2, I think we should bump up both wide receiver 2s. Though I did think that Pat Green made a pretty good case for why you should be perhaps considering Jalen Waddle a little more seriously, given the fact he's got a good role. He can make a leap in year 3, earn more targets for himself, what we just talked about with Tyreek having to maybe lose a little bit of target share. And then also you get the fact for Waddle that, he's a player that if Tyreek gets hurt, he's going to get that Tyreek role or a large portion of it. So I think those are really the biggest upside points for him. But Waddle in this draft goes to 24. We do get Achane coming back. I do find it hard not to scoop up Achane. That said, I don't get Nico and Diggs very often, so getting Nico and Diggs with Tyreek seems pretty sick. So we're going to do that. Start with 3 receivers here. A 0 RB start. We'll see if we stick it with 0 RB the rest of the way. We got Tyreek Hill, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs. The Houston double would make sense to get Stroud in this one, but Stroud sometimes goes at 70, so it may be tough to take him at 51, even though that is where I would have him ranked. Let's see. CD is the best player in Dallas's offense, and it's not even close. He might bet lead the NFL in targets. I agree. They didn't add anything there, and losing Michael Gallup, even though it's not a huge thing for what we expect that team to do, losing Michael Gallup is a lot of guys that, a lot of targets that were going there historically, and a lot of routes, too, that he was gobbling up and doing nothing with last year. So, obviously, people expect it to benefit Jalen Tolbert, expect it to benefit Brandon Cooks, even expect it to benefit Jake Ferguson, I think the most, relative to market ADPs. The guy who benefits the most is probably CeeDee Lamb. He can hit Tyreek Hill numbers this year. He can hit 38% of the targets, and it wouldn't shock me per his route run. Where was he last year? CD. It's actually looking at the Spags rankings data points from last night, because I was just curious to see how these guys would align. And honestly, the only guy who really stood out as being not that close to where his ADP was is Garrett Wilson, who I have at number 21. If you remember the in-season Spags rankings last year, it's a data point that encapsulates the EPA metrics, target share, touchdown equity, red zone targets, end zone targets, those kind of things. Rolls it all up into one number. And Garrett Wilson being that low, I was like, sick. So I'm on the right side of history of that one, at least for myself. Mike Williams, shockingly high for the few games he played last year. Anyway, CeeDee Lamb, 30% target route run for him. Tyreek was at 38.6%. Keenan Allen, 31%. Justin Jefferson at 28% target route run. So that's where I think he gets benefited as well. Not having Hockenson for at least, half that year, most likely. I would guess that Jefferson gets closer to that Tyreek-ish range, if nothing else, the CeeDee Lamb range safely. So him getting more targets per out run would be great for Jefferson. And obviously, I love Jefferson. Really want to get him in more drafts, even though I didn't take him over Tyreek today. Good morning. Shout out all the paying members. Might do members only day in the chat one of these days soon, now that we got enough folks in here. So hit that join button down below. Of course, for $4.99 a month, you support the show here. Might shock you to hear when you do niche best ball kind of content for people. You're not necessarily raking it in views-wise and ad revenue-wise. So the supportive members like you, much like PBS, me and PBS, two sides of the same coin. Your support does go a long way here on the stream, and I'd really love to hit 100 active members this summer. The sooner the better, because then we can try to hit 1,000. So hit the join button. Of course, you get a VIP Discord access. You also get 10 team reviews a month from me, which you could send to me on the Discord. And also you get a what's the third perk? Oh, you get the Spags rankings. Duh. You get my rankings that you can see on screen with over 250 blurbs for players as well that I update based upon news. So I'm really trying my best to give you guys actual products, even though the infrastructure here, I admit, is not as clean as when I was on Stochastic or even what we have with Probably. So hit the join button down below if you can, and really do that. Oh, go to hell. Go to hell, Jeremy. I hate you. I hate you. Maybe I'm going to bid it up a little bit, but I want you to know, I really feel in my heart this. You said you're not going to be in a draft ever again for a while, and then you're in a draft 5 days later. You are an addict, and you won't hit the join button and support the channel, which everybody else does graciously. It's sick is what it is. And you know what else is sick? The fact that Terry McLaurin is still here. Let's fucking rock. Let's push CJ Stroud. Could be tough. We are pushing CJ Stroud to 51. So this would not be the hard part. Pushing Stroud to 70 would be the hard part because the Tank Dell drafter is here. I think in general, these guys, if this were a little bit of a longer turn, probably would still have CJ Stroud not be picked because I think people are a little bit averse to taking unstacked Stroud, as they should be, because Stroud's biggest benefit is when that entire stack hits and goes off in a big way. Jeremy, oh, good. So you have money, Jeremy. Seems like $5 a month for somebody who you tried to draft with legitimately 50 plus times in a given year. Maybe I would think you could share the love there. It's all about your bracelets, Jeremy. But also legit, I'm going to ban you at the end of the stream if you don't hit the join button. Don't question my word, my friends. If you want an end of show bit, guys, that's the end of show bit. Let's see if Jeremy does it. Jeremy, I hate you. I genuinely hate you. We are on the clock here. This team, I think, gets very sick with CJ Stroud. The downside is that You see, I took Terry McLaurin. Obviously, in my brain, we could set up a Jaden Daniels CJ Stroud pairing, both week 14 buys. So we do need a third QB for this build. We are going to take CJ Stroud here. Decent discount on George Pickens. He's actually now where I would rank him. I have him ranked at 47, ADP at 43.6. But I'm not going to play the game with Stroud. I think we have the double. I don't get this double enough. I want Nico and Diggs as much as I can get it. So to get Stroud with those guys, very happy to do that. I'm using this Nemesis stick. Well, it ends this video. It ends at the end of the stream. I'm telling you, doing it. I don't know if you're saying do it about banning Jeremy or doing it for drafting CJ Stroud, but I did them both. Did them both in once. Watch the popcorn. I think this is just funny. It gives this stream an underlying current to it, where at the end of the stream you're gonna see somebody beheaded, or you're gonna see Spags earn $4.99, which then YouTube takes 50% cut of. So I will fight to the death for my $2.48 or whatever it is. Both. All right, good. Glad it's both. Broncos, paying member, appreciate you. Seal City Blue, appreciate paying member, appreciate you. Anyway, I love this team. I said it was going to be an electric draft, guys. You're going to see somebody get electrocuted at the end of the stream potentially, and you're also seeing me build a fucking unbelievable pass rate team. This is an exciting build to have. I'm delighted. Leaving my first knifing. No, we've banned people before, but not this publicly, not in this way on a stream. But, this is a stream where this is a Kendrick Lamar style stream. We're walking people down. We're intimidating them to not take our picks. And we're also going to occasionally shoot somebody. We're going to cap somebody and talk about it in the Mad City van. That's what we're going to do. Appreciate you guys watching live, though. Again, this is the only show in the world I think we're going to get this style of content. So subscribe down below. Of course, talk about the news here every day, talk about the data. I'll look up data points like the target per out run thing. And that's really one of the biggest, most important parts of fantasy, too, that people I don't think talk about enough. Obviously, shows like ADP Chasing, which I watched yesterday with Corain, with Sam Sherman, with Davis. That's a great show. There's a lot of great shows out there, but I do think a lot of the shows out there, a lot of streams out there, a lot of creators out there, just kind of getting away doing less now, or you're not even giving great data points, you're giving counting stat stuff. Like, really try to make yourself smarter about it is what I would say. And again, things like target per out run doesn't mean everything, but it is interesting to observe. And Tyreek being that high, sometimes things go that high just to crash back down. Like last year, Rashid Shaheed was, I think, a 0.7 EPA per target guy. This year, I believe he ended up slightly negative. Shaheed was 0.08, so fell from 0.7 to 0.08. Still positive, still adding value every play, but not to the same extent. Those are the kind of things that can happen year to year. If you run bad, if the offense runs bad, if the situation gets worse. So when you have those situations, be mindful of the high end of things and the lower outcomes that can come when you reach maybe too high with that. Brian Thompson, 68, feels like a good price tag to me. Again, if Vlad's going to go in that range, Brian Thomas, much better, much more fun bet. Basic stream and team as always. Thank you, Big Sonny. I appreciate that. You don't even have to pay. That's a kind enough comment. You're adding value, which is all I ever ask here on stream. 1040. Worthy, a nice discount on him. We could be building a really powerful wide receiver room, and we're going to build that powerful wide receiver room. So we didn't get the huge discount on Stroud that people are getting right now. In fact, took him a little bit ahead of ADP. So that is where I'd have him ranked. We take Stroud. We add Xavier Worthy to a team with Tyreek, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, and Terry McLaurin. This team is all gas, no brakes. I am excited by this. I think it's an electric team. I think we're living up to the premise. I might even change the video title. Like I usually try to change it after the fact to reflect what the draft actually was. This is pure electricity. We're banning people potentially at the end of a stream if they don't do the right thing. And we're also building a sick squad in the middle of it. So the system works. As Jeremy, by the way, just still does the fucking Jeremy thing where he's scooping up Houston. I didn't mean to highlight Dalton Kincaid, but he's scooping up Houston too alongside me. He's always got to have the same bet as me in every fucking draft. But God forbid we pass Spags his $2.48, $2.49 post YouTube cut. God forbid, Jeremy. Ooh, if I wanted to break my own camera and throw this football at it, this would be the situation to do so. All right. 1050 here. Would like to have a little flexibility to take more receivers late. We have no obvious correlations at this point we need to go out of our way to get. Adding a Jameson Williams or Christian Watson to this team would be incredibly fun. Why am I? I'm not opposed to fun. I like fun. I like Christian Watson too. I like him as much as I do last year. Now he's at a cheaper price. Christian Watson, wide receiver 6. Some would say this is an extreme zero RB build, but I would say I'm gonna take it whatever I want. I'm gonna take some receivers late if I want to, but I think we got to be done at receiver for now. So let's prepare to take some tight ends and running backs coming up, and let's give this team a read. So passed up Aaron Jones there or reaching for somebody else. I just didn't think Aaron Jones at ADP did a lot for me. Kind of wouldn't have minded JSN, honestly, and Jameson Williams I do have higher than market, even though I have backed him down a little bit towards an 80 ADP. I still have about 7 spots higher than the market ADP right now. But CJ Stroud, Tyreek Hill, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Terry McLaurin, Xavier Worthy, Christian Watson. So we could tack on some later Ty Chandler running back correlation for that Minnesota Green Bay late. I would obviously grab Pittsburgh guys later if we want. Maybe one of the running backs will align with our next pick. We'll see. Houston, Baltimore would have to get Bateman in the middle. Would have to maybe get a Justice Hill type late. Not the best one there for a week 17 bring back. So probably not going to correlate Houston, Baltimore in the way that'd be the most fun. Though I did yesterday, did another DraftKings draft last night. Whenever I have a nice profitable day with Probably, I'm now doing a DraftKings draft. So you guys, if you want to know my process, that's my current process right now. So for DraftKings, I got Zay Flowers and Diggs together in the same draft, and I ended up in the first 8 rounds. I had 8 guys in the top 80 on DraftKings. So for all you guys out there that want me to do DraftKings stream drafts, still not planning on doing it right now. But it is something that I do have to say, like drafting on DraftKings, people are still right. The EV is there in a huge way. And I think people, again, treating this year much less structurally sound, being less aware of pockets of when to take guys and when not to take guys. On DraftKings, I feel like you're seeing a more extreme version of what you see on Underdog, of where people can confidently put together a 3 elite QB build and go like, man, I'm going to crush it this year. Like not even looking up the data that's got historically some of the worst results that you could possibly have of any structure. People are just doing like they're doing weird shit because they think weird shit's what's going to win it, and being different's what's going to win it. And in reality, being the same, but having enough, carbon copies, having enough of the Pat Corain well-built guitars to ship along that could hopefully not break in transit. It's what you're trying to do with your team. So it's a lot of minus EV out there is what I'd say. Like in Gladiator, Jeremy's fate will be determined by the Squirt Execution Squad. Thumbs up or thumbs down, what will it be? We'll find out at the end of the video. But I can tell you right now, unless there's some Roman shekels being thrown my way, it's going to be a big, pure execution. This doesn't apply for everybody. Obviously, would love you all to sign up, but it's Jeremy specific. He's been in legit. Counting back to last year, it has to be close to 100 drafts of mine on stream. At a certain point, the rubber meets the road, and the rubber has met the road roughly about a month ago. And now the rubber and the road is going like this. There's bumping uglies. I do appreciate all you guys who watch live, though, excluding Jeremy. Thank you guys for being a part of the community here, watching live. Of course, your support does matter a bunch. So subscribe down below with the like button, especially, after Mondays. Mondays, we get our dick kicked in by the circus being in town, the Pete Overs at show, where there's the elephants, Sean Siegel's the elephants. We got tigers, Pat Corain's tigers. We have people swallowing fire. That's whoever the third, I guess that'd be Lord Reeves yesterday, whoever the third guy is. And then Pete himself there, the ringmaster in the middle, controlling it all. I'm just a local carnival that might rip you off and kill a goldfish along the way. And I get it, but the carnival's a lot of fun on Tuesday too. So the circus on Mondays, hey, the circus is going to win. The carnival, we keep going on. We got a bearded lady somewhere. Am I the bearded lady? We got that. We got it all here. We got that ring game. And you try to throw it over a bottle, but the ring's a little bit too small. We got that here. Lots of fun to be had. Speaking of lots of fun to be had, big old discount on Joe Burrow. Big old fatty discount on Joe Burrow. Oh, you know what? We need some running backs. We really do need some running backs. But this team is too electric to ignore, and the electricity increases. Although I could just correlate Jordan Love. But the electricity is increasing with Jaden Daniels. Come on down. 2 week 14 buys. We don't care. Till Jaden Daniels goes in the 80s, you're going to see him on every team of mine. When an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. There we go. That's me and you, Big Lenny. It's me and you. But Christian McCaffrey's the 101 this year, so hopefully you've got some hot takes for him. I hope this year you're flat fading him. You're just going, I don't know about this. Christian McCaffrey at the 101. Going to be a bust. Bearded Lady's the man bush hidden behind the paywall. Yeah, that's the promise here now. It's not about team reviews. It's not about a VIP Discord. It's definitely not about the Spags ranking. It's just about showing pubes if you pay money here on the channel. Yeah, so RB got a little bled out in this pocket. Didn't need to take Jaden at 94, but the ranks are the ranks, guys. If you make your own rankings, I think you're allowed to just say ADP, go fuck yourself sometimes. And that's what we did here. We told ADP to go and sit on it. All right. First running back off the board. What's a fun? I mean, Brian Robinson, I do have ranked a lot higher than market. Not going to take him here. Tony Pollard, minor discount. Pollard plays Indianapolis and Jacksonville, none of which we have any correlation to. But I think Tony Pollard for the start of a return to shores of running back would be pretty good. What would also be good is Brock Bowers. Let's do Brock Bowers. Let's see how far we can push running back and see how this team does, right? We're having fun here. I'm having a grand old time. I'm threatening people's lives here on YouTube. I feel good about it. Team so far is a 2-0-6-1. So we still have to get another QB at some point. We still have to get running backs at some point. Wide receiver looks great, though. So CJ Stroud, Jaden Daniels at QB. What a duo. Both Week 14 buys because the NFL schedulers wanted to ruin my life personally. Tyreek Hill, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs at Houston double. Terry McLaurin, Xavier Worthy, Christian Watson, and then an elite tight end at pick 99, Brock Bowers. Come on down. Woo. Talk about an electric team. Is electric. Will the running back play be there? Hard to say. We're going to make it up in volume, though. We are going to make it up in volume. That's the ethos here in the channel. When we put ourselves ahead of our skis, we make it up in volume. Ooh, boy. BR, I think this team goes burr, if that's what we're saying. Goes burr is what it does. And no nude eggs here. That egg is wearing a gold suit. That egg looks like Steve Harvey. Imagine the nude egg in a Steve Harvey suit doing this. That's what this team is. It's pure electricity. Anyway, it's good to have a little bit of porn at work. It's okay. There we go. Caleb Williams, Jordan Love goes at 104. Look, say what you will about my hubris with Jaden Daniels, my zest for Jaden Daniels. Jordan Love probably should go ahead to Jaden Daniels, I think. I think that's the tier break for me. And honestly, it would have made sense for this team as well, but we got Terry McLaurin. What are you going to take Terry McLaurin and not take Jaden Daniels? That's like having a bagel and not getting a cream cheese. Am I just going to bareback this bagel? No, I want the tastiest version of the bagel, which is just Jaden Daniels lofting bombs. Terry McLaurin, wow, what a treat it is to have the best QB I've ever played with. He's like running through a meadow. He's sniffing flowers. It's the joyous times for Terry McLaurin. I want him to be a part of the party here. I don't want to be left out. So T-Mac is on this squad. I'll die with him in my hands, clutching him like a rosary. Team is pure sex. Thank you. I appreciate that. Brian Robinson would have been nice. I can admit that. Maybe we get the Austin Eckler consolation prize. Don't know that we need it, but we would take it. I believe enough in Brian Robinson, as we've talked about here. Believe he will be the between the 20s back, the guy with good red zone work, but Eckler's going to take 10-ish touches away per game, and those will probably be high efficiency touches, hopefully more efficient than he was last year. So Eckler to me, if we got him at 118, great. Of course, knowing how it'll go, Jeremy will take him at 115 and go, I needed him for my NFC East team, or whatever fucking dumb shit that ass says. Oh, man. Creamy sauce and Justin Herbert. Yep. Lots of luminaries here in the chat, as always. I do appreciate you guys who are in the chat. Putting yourself out there, knowing you're coming to the Tigers cage, and I'm going to go rah. I might go rah to you. Oh, boy. I play loose here on stream. Some people out there do streams are worried about looking cool. I do the gayest tiger. Rah. Again, we're having a fun electric draft. We're going to do that. If you can't live with tigers doing things like that, you're not living. All right, so a lot of logical stuff to do here. A lot of great stuff on the board. Austin Eckler, higher ADP or lower ADP than Chase Brown. He might be a logical pick. Chase Brown, I like the talent of a little bit more. Dalton Schultz, tasty to me, but also not going to take him ahead of ADP when we need running back. So the running back fast ends, rar. This is also Caleb Williams bear, rar. We take Chase Brown as our first running back, and we're going to get RB hot and heavy coming up in the next few rounds. We're going to play the hits, I think, that I like because got to time the ranges out here, but we are strongly rounds 10 through 16 going to have a heavy RB focus, I would say, here. It is Pride Month. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate the guy from Georgia getting that. I'm like Miss Rachel. I'm here putting on colorful clothing, knowing that a certain part of the base is going to be very annoying. Did not push Eckler back, which sucks. This fucking guy also took Dalton Schultz, which were really both the guys I wanted for correlation bets. We'll get neither here. The irony, a Jeremy draft, and yet it's not Jeremy giving me the old et tu brute. No. It's DTAC 42. Edibles Tuesday. No, but Vaporable Tuesday is the thing. I don't want to give away. I don't want to pull behind the curtain too much, but I have a presentation I have to do for probably later this afternoon. Anxiety very high as a result. I have to go to Comcast to pitch whatever group is going to be there. And yeah, I'm fucking. So maybe I smoked a little bit this morning. It's hard to say. Blake Corum, Nick Chubb, Marshawn Lloyd. I personally think that Marshawn Lloyd's a better pick than those guys, and I don't think Marshawn Lloyd is coming back to me. Marshawn Lloyd also gives us a little bit of a correlated bet on Green Bay. Marshawn Lloyd, you are my savior when I don't have running backs. So come on down, Marshawn Lloyd, RB2. The team now, a 2-2-6-1. We've got CJ Stroud and Jaden Daniels at running back. Chase Brown, Marshawn Lloyd, a wide receiver, the best wide receiver room you'll ever see in football, I think. Tyreek Hill, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs at Houston double, Terry McLaurin correlated with Jaden Daniels, Xavier Worthy, Christian Watson, and a tight end, we have old Brock Bowers. So that is the squad so far. Obviously have to keep hitting RB hard, have to add a tight end 2 at some point, and probably want to add a tight end 3 at some point, but I think we can do that. You'll kill it. Go get him, Pride Tiger. Thank you. As long as I give them that roar, they're going to be right down for it. And GM Spags, my guy, C40. Shout out C40 here. Love seeing all of the member badges on here, even though I can't. It sucks that the Splash Play little helmet thing doesn't show up on screen because of how StreamYard does things. But love seeing the helmets out there where you guys are leaving comments or in the chat. So appreciate your guys' support here. And of course, you too can support $4.99 a month down below. Want to get to that 100. That sweet, tasty 100. I guess not tasty. Type of draft everyone wants, but is too afraid to actually do. That's true. Bunch of cowards now. But I get it. Like RB is too tempting now and all these rounds in the middle. But if you're willing to, if you have bets on running backs, and I do think you have the ability to pan for gold in the mid 100s at running back, like I think I've proven I have over the last 2 years of aggressive max level best ball drafting. I'm willing to take that flyer, but obviously I get people's appetite for risk. Like I love starting a 0 RB run with David Montgomery, with Joe Mixon. Like I'm happy to start my run with those guys as well. But this is that pure uncut 0 RB shit that if it times out right, and if everybody else fills up at running back, and then you can get in a bunch of good running backs who are maybe a little bit undervalued because they don't have the role yet, which I think there are. We'll see who these guys are as I draft them. I'm not going to give them all away for the old looky-loos who might take them out from under my nose. I think there's a lot of running backs you could hit in this range that will make you feel pretty good, will correlate. And we just hope that we have less guys like Wilkes here who's going on 6 straight running backs here. Hopefully he can be done now. Hopefully his belly is full because he is scooping up a lot of valuable guys. This is that pure uncut 0 RB stuff. This is stuff you don't have to worry about. No fentanyl in this one. This one's good to go. Rounds 8 through 12 feel so good at RB. I agree. And honestly, too, once we get to that Bucky range, like I think you still have Bucky there. I think Tank still looks good in the last rounds. Like there's a lot of ways to manage your RB pocket late. At least have some feel of upside. And honestly, some amount of roll, I wouldn't say guaranteed, but some amount of roll currently penciled in for these guys. Like Tank goes, into 200s. I think he might have moved up now to top 195. But like he's going, a lot of times behind guys that aren't going to play at all. Even Alexander Madison, like it's a gross play, but Madison's probably the number 2 back right now in Vegas. I would like to see Dylan Lave win a role, but you can't guarantee that. So there are some guys late you can hit and feel like maybe you're getting something there. Obviously, that's not as fun as like a Kyron Williams kind of play. But, and Audric Estime, I think, still has that Kyron Williams upside. But obviously right now with him coming off the knee scope, kind of have to learn how to dial stuff back a little bit sometimes. I don't know what this is, but I'll put it on the screen. And then the uncircumcised are. I prefer the cocaine analogies more than that, but sure, whatever. Whatever floats your boat. Whatever floats the collective boats of the people. We'll see what we get with this next pick. Might have to jump up. Might be a time to add another receiver. Which, like, we really don't need for ourselves, but gotta think at some point, wide receiver 7 might be a nice pick. So Jahan Dotson is here. That said, there is a bit of a tier break, both in general and for me at running back. Jerome Ford's going to go at 142. I have to scoop that. So Jerome Ford, if Dotson comes back, we'll have to make a choice. If not, we'll keep hitting running back. So a 2-3-6-1, we're pulling the plane out. The plane was going in the water. We were about to hit some geese like Sully. And no, we said we pulled it back up. And now we're landing it with running back. So we've added Chase Brown, Marshawn Lloyd, Jerome Ford, went heavily above ADP for Lloyd, and it took a big discount on Ford. So net, I think it worked out because there was no chance Marshawn Lloyd was coming back to pick 142, especially in this room where RB was getting gobbled up like the Cookie Monster, many would say. I think going the way that I did that worked out well. And that's, that's having conviction in my players, and Marshawn Lloyd is one of my players. Think Dever cuts Perrine or Pirine? Yes, I think he do. I think they do. But obviously, that's a better outcome for Estime that I would have thought possible. In fact, they want him to pick up pass game work. Deshaun Watson at 145 is an asinine pick. But there we go. Ty Chandler, I really wanted for a little bit more of that Minnesota Green Bay bet, but that's okay. Jahan Dotson's still here. I think that's a really fun pick right now. I think we'll still get some RBs back because we have seen a few guys scarfing up enough running backs around the bend. So hopefully that'll be the case. But if not, I think Dotson was worth it for this one. So we do get the Jaden Daniels double right now. I think we are effectively done at receiver, though. This is where I have to say, I'm full now. We got 7 receivers. The team so far, CJ Stroud and Jaden Daniels, both week 14 buys. So we're going to have to add a late stack, I think, to try to make it work. Or honestly, an unstacked QB. I can live with it. With these two as my QB. Chase Brown, Marshawn Lloyd, Jerome Ford as our running backs. Wide receiver, Tyreek Hill, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Terry McLaurin, Xavier Worthy, Christian Watson, Jahan Dotson, and a tight end, Brock Bowers. So have to stick the landing at tight end. That could be the spot we correlate with our QB. I have some ideas. John over Sinnott. Jahan at 1. So I have him, Jahan ranked at 130. Getting him at 147, I think is too good of a pick. And I want more Jahan Dotson with, I have enough Jaden. Honestly, going back to the big board, I have enough Jaden Daniels with Ben Sinnott. At this point, I'm comfortable with my amount of that stack. Getting more Dotson is a higher priority for me. That said, I think it's possible we could see Sinnott around on the way back. I don't want to guarantee that or anything, but we'll figure it out. Figure it out either way. But I get what you're saying. Week 14, 0 City, have no fear, Creamy Sauce. I'll figure out how to add another QB later on. Not worried about it. If people like you, Creamy Sauce, are worried about it, that's what only strengthens my diamond hands. You see the diamonds on these hands? There are none. You know why? Because I'm working too hard. Look at these calluses. It's a man's hands that also happen to be diamond hands metaphorically, not literally. So I don't even know why you'd expect me to have diamonds on my hands. I wasn't saying it literally. Fucking Creamy Sauce. Yes, diamond cocks. Yes, yeah. Ones that can cut glass. God, what a horrifying sentiment. Love Jahan this year for what it's worth. I think this is his shot. Somebody compared him. There was an interesting comparison. I forget who it was. There was it was a Twitter comp, but they were saying Jahan Dotson being good year 1, having a bad QB situation, being a good route runner still, but having bad results in year 2, and then rebounding in year 3. Somebody else fit that archetype, but that's they were saying Jahan Dotson is this other person who had that same run out. I think Jahan Dotson's talented. I think he just got a bad situation last year where his ADOT fell off a cliff. despite having Sam Howell there, and that's not Howell's game. Dotson last year, Dotson was really bad in EPA, like a negative 0.23 EPA per target. I think Terry McLaurin was 0.04 EPA per target. So pretty big discrepancy with those guys in the same offense. But it wasn't fully Dotson's fault because of the fact he was getting, honestly, he was getting 9.5 air yards per attempt. So that's actually better than I would have thought. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be giving cover to Jahan Dotson. The belief for me with Jahan Dotson is just that he's going to be a player who's going to really benefit from having a guy like Jaden Daniels there. All right, I'm going to take Sinnott here just because I'm hoping that these people aren't watching the stream and can't see my rankings. Because I don't think, I mean, they might take Bucky. I would like to get Bucky here. I think Bucky would be a really nice run out for RB4. I would also be willing to take Jalen Wright, 12 picks after ADP. I think that would be fine for this team as well with our bet on Tyreek. But we'll see what these colorful characters at the turn do. D-Tac is, I don't know what he's drafting. He's done some wild stuff. He takes Troy Franklin. Good pick for him. Dobbins. Okay. What are you going to do, Phils? Again, both these running back picks are good for me, so I'm happy to go with either of them, even though it would be fun to take Luke McCaffrey. We're not going to do that here. All right, Malachi Corley. I mean, relative to ADP, the pick should be Jalen Wright, and I think that we have, we obviously have the correlation for that now. We might have the correlation for Bucky Irving later on. Spoiler alert. Who makes my team better? Who makes my team have a shot to crush more? I think it's Bucky. Bucky's not coming all the way back. So we're going to take Bucky over Jalen Wright. You could make the case, and you probably could make a strong case. You should take Jalen Wright there. I just believe in Bucky's role a lot more. Like, Bucky doesn't have Devon Achane blocking him. He's got no juice Rachaad White in a team that pointed out that Rachaad White couldn't miss tackles last year. So to me, Bucky should be priced in the 150s, if not the 140s. Instead, he's priced in the 170s. So I value him more highly than Jalen Wright. You don't have to. Team so far is a 2-4-7-2. CJ Stroud, Jaden Daniels, both week 14 buys, so we got to get a QB late. Chase Brown, Marshawn Lloyd, Jerome Ford, Bucky Irving, wide receiver, Tyreek Hill, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Terry McLaurin, Xavier Worthy, Christian Watson, Jahan Dotson, an unequivocally fun wide receiver room. Obviously, that leaves some holes, perhaps in other spots, but not a tight end. Brock Bowers and Ben Sinnott, two rookies, my two favorite rookie tight ends, looking good. Also, Darren Waller seems like trending more towards retiring than not. I still think I wouldn't rule out a last minute that he does show up for minicamp. But with that decision's coming up soon, so there's something to keep an eye on. People are saying he's retired because they misread the article, which was saying the Giants are treating it like he's going to retire, which is why they drafted Theo Johnson. They're trying to go in with Bellinger and Theo Johnson, and I think they're going to give a pay raise to Bellinger if Waller retires. So that's what I would say is the most likely outcome there right now. We just wanted to touch on that here while we're talking about late tight ends and newsworthy items here on stream. Shout out to guy Raise here. Morning Spags just got here. Hope everyone's doing great this AM. Everybody besides Jeremy, who's been in more drafts of mine than anybody, and he is going to have to become a member at the end of the stream or by the end of the stream, where he's going to be banned as my last action on the stream today. So stay tuned. That's coming up in another 3 rounds. So Jeremy, hope you have your credit card ready on YouTube. Otherwise, you're going to be a real weirdo being banned on the channel, still watching all the streams and joining my draft rooms. Jeremy is kind of a weirdo, so we'll see. We'll see how much of a weirdo he is in the next 3 rounds here. And we'll also see if I could stick the landing with my running back play, which is looking less likely by the round. But we will see. Bucky has to be over Wright. Tampa Bay running back room is fragile and Wright's the number 3. That's how I feel about it. The one thing, though, is that Jalen Wright is incredibly fast, and you just have a team full of incredibly fast guys. If you want to keep the incredibly fast guys at pure efficiency, you might want to cut the touches and just go, hey, Jalen Wright, take 5 touches. And then maybe he takes 1 to the house occasionally. Like, it's possible in that Miami offense with a guy that fast. So that's the positive spin for Jalen Wright, but him overtaking like Devon Achane, it's not going to happen. Like, Achane's a better back. But and Jalen Wright's coming from the most Mickey Mouse offense where it was spread out so wide in Tennessee that he was running against like 1-man boxes. I just don't know that we know what Wright is as a player, even though Miami nut landing spot and like as contingent value, he's probably your Achane contingent value. So if Achane gets hurt, which he did last year, then maybe you see Jalen Wright hit for a period, and maybe he hits hard enough that he earns a role. Who knows? All right, Jalen Tolbert goes at 185. So that's the new price for him, I guess, in this particular room. I think he's more appealing if you have that Philly stack and then you need a bring back for week 17. But that could honestly be part of what's driving him up a little bit. Oh, Jeremy's been okay. It's more about the principle, though. You can't force your way into every draft and not be a member. That's just the reality of it. Like, if you're going to be that attached to my life, there's got to be value given back. So, look, we got to make these things for ourselves. Jeremy takes Bryce Young, who I was hoping to get. This is why, Jeremy, I never want in a room. He needed a third QB, which I understand, but it's just the shit that happens to this motherfucker every time. And I'm so tired of having that be a thing in my portfolio. So, Jeremy cruising towards a ban at the end of the video, no matter what. Stay tuned for that. Aaron Rodgers is still on the board. Is he going to be still alive in week 14 and functional? That's the big question. This is a value at this point. I'm going to scoop Aaron Rodgers and try to do something interesting with this team. So Rodgers will give us points in week 14 as long as his leg doesn't fall off, which is still in the range of probabilities. But we have CJ Stroud, Jaden Daniels, Aaron Rodgers, Chase Brown, Marshawn Lloyd, Jerome Ford, Bucky Irving at running back, Tyreek Hill, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Terry McLaurin, Xavier Worthy, Christian Watson, Jahan Dotson at wide receiver, and at tight end, Brock Bowers and Ben Sinnott. This is the shitty part of Brock Bowers is that there was not a QB bailout that I could take with them where if I take Minshew, he might not start. If I take O'Connell, he might not start. I have no confidence about who's starting week 17 there. So that limits me. And obviously, Bryce Young, I was trying to set up Carolina, Tampa Bay here. That's not going to happen either. So persevere. Shout out Tyler for the membership. Wait, who got it? If Jeremy got it, I'm going to be really fucking mad. What was the result here? I don't want to spoil it for myself, but all right, I'll open up Splash Play. I'll look. But thank you, Tyler, for your support. Again, it's that easy to buy a membership on the channel. Tyler's showing it in real time. Okay, Garrett Ketchum. That's a fun name. Shout out Garrett Ketchum for the membership. And the RNG says Jeremy will not be saved. All right, 3-4-7-2 build. We need some running backs, one would say. Tank Bigsby, a more valid running back than you should be getting in round 17. So Tank, come on down. I don't give a shit what you correlate with. 3-5-7-2 here. Can we stick that 6-star B? I hope so. Braylon, ooh, that's a fun pick. Fantasy Football Garage. It's on the board. It's on the board. Audric Estime on the board. There's a lot of options here. I'll take, honestly, for what this build is, I'll take an unstacked Aaron Rodgers giving me, I swear to God, this guy's going to be hurt week 14, and that's the difference between this team making the playoffs and not. I'm going to be very upset. But I would take Aaron Rodgers giving me 10 points in week 14 as his only utility here. If I'm getting Aaron Rodgers 45 picks after ADP, so we can live with it. It's a shame, Jeremy. You fucking want somebody to gift you a membership so you don't get banned? You are really one of the worst people. Oh my God. Braylon Allen goes to be like Mike, which is fair. Braylon Allen, positive camp buzz. A part of my logic for bumping Breece Hall behind Puka Nacua, behind AJ Brown, is the fact that Braylon Allen has looked so good in camp. I think he's going to finally be the answer to the Jets who want to take touches away from Breece Hall. They've shown it for 2 straight years, adding the guys they did last year with Izzy, who might be off the team this year, adding Isaiah Davis, adding Braylon Allen, even adding a guy like Tariq Cohen. It's signal there. So Braylon Allen, to me, a valid pick. I think your big risk point is that he's the Hassan Haskins to Derrick Henry a couple of years ago, where even the Zamir White to Josh Jacobs a couple of years ago, just doesn't get the work unless the guy goes down. And even if the guy goes down, it might not be there. All right, Mr. Popinski, that's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. But we'll do the thumbs up, thumbs down at the end. I'll make sure to keep Jeremy right here, right in my crosshairs on the chat. Pew, pew. We've done effeminate tiger hands before. They're going to do effeminate gun. Pew, pew, Jeremy. Pew, pew coming. Oh, man, the people coming out. He didn't take Braylon. It was be like Mike, but yeah, that does feel like a Jeremy thing to do. That's just like who he is as a human being, really and truly. One of the worst parts of the community, unless he pays $5. But what does he do with his last pick? This dildo. Our last time, hopefully, honestly, Jeremy's enough of a weirdo. He's probably going to try to get into more drafts because of this. But possibly the last time before Jeremy gets banned on the channel and then he acts like an absolute creepo and watches through the window and joins drafts. But there's his pick, Alexander Madison. What a pick. What a pick. Stole money from my niece to pay for the Splash Play membership. Man up, Jeremy. Thank you. Thank you. Adam, do you want to go join Jeremy on the unemployed YouTube chatter line? No, you're paying member, Adam, and you've been on stream. So you've contributed, which is the whole point. It's like Calico cut pants. You got to give. You got to give. 3572 here. Honestly, I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire would be a valid pick. I think Foreman cornering the backfield on non-Nick Chubb running backs in Cleveland would be valid. But we need to bail ourselves out. We're going to do it the only way we know how. Audric Estime is going to be the pick. Okay, you know what? Final team here. The team's getting a read, and then we're banning Jeremy. We got a 3-6-7-2 here. CJ Stroud, Jaden Daniels, Aaron Rodgers at QB. At running back, Chase Brown, Marshawn Lloyd, Jerome Ford, Bucky Irving, Tank Bigsby, and Audric Estime. Is it the prettiest running back room you're ever going to see? No. But is it a room of guys who I believe have talent, have proven something, or have opportunity in front of them? Yes. So we have that going for us. Wide receiver, Tyreek Hill, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Terry McLaurin, Xavier Worthy, Christian Watson, Jahan Dotson, and a tight end, Brock Bowers and Ben Sinnott. I like the team. Could have been a little bit better with some different plays, but Aaron Rodgers, unstacked, whatever. He'll give me points in week 14. That's it. All right, so let's give the final plugs, and then we'll give the final execution for Jeremy. Guys, please do subscribe down below, hit the like button. Again, despite what it may seem like it's a community here, ultimately, it's a community. It's about giving. Like, I give to you guys the best I can, all my information. I show you my process. I show you my exposures. I talk about players. I give out my own rankings. I give team reviews to members here. I do everything I can to help you guys be sharper at this. And it's a two-way street. So your support does go a long way here for me as a solo proprietor. And when people don't support and they, in fact, take EV actively off the table, that's when heads have to roll. But either way, promo code SPLASH and Underdog will also get you up to $250 in bonus cash. And Underdog continues to insist an ad copy. You need to call it boner cash because people out there are so excited. They're so filled with bloods of their loins because of getting the biggest bonus deposit match you can find out there. So check it out, promo code SPLASH on Underdog, and go get yourself some boner cash with that promo code SPLASH at Underdog right now. Probably is my baby, 4-1 the top 5. Yesterday, there's a guy, Robert Griffin III, tweeted that he put in bets while literally on the toilet and hit a 4-1 with a 50% ROI. That's what we do at Probably. Top of market data from the best sportsbooks around the world. Go check it out for yourself right now. Get half off. He's getting all of our data for under $10 for a month, under $100 for a year at probably.com/subscribe with the promo code SPLASH. Play WNBA DFS tonight, 20% off, or 20% off, 20K to first on NBA DraftKings site or WNBA DraftKings. So lots of great tools at Stochastic to help you make that money, including all the Sims tools for PGA, MMA, NASCAR. So get 15% off with Stochastic, promo code SPLASH on there. And thank you. Oh, drafters too. Promo code SPLASH, $100 deposit match. We'll do a draft on Saturday. Thank you to all the fine folks who support the show. I think I actually have to add our guy. Was it Ed? I forgot what your name was. You did it yesterday. But either way, I have to add some people on here. Of course, this is part of the perks. You hit the join button down below for $4.99 a month. And of course, you get my 10 team reviews a month. You also get added to a VIP Discord, and you get my rankings updated weekly with all of my latest market movements and thoughts. I'm checking the chat. All right, we do not see Jeremy. All right, Jeremy, you didn't support the channel. You are one of the most selfish assholes who's ever been around. I don't wish to see you again. And in fact, it's going to really creep me out if you come into drafts again. Jeremy, you are banned. Get the fuck out. Free me from the fucking pains of seeing you in every room. The community has spoken. Thumbs down. Execution. Support streamers. Support yourselves by getting the best and best ball from people who want to give it to you. And I'm going to be that person for you as long as you're not in every draft room or if you're a paying member. Subscribe down below with the like button. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the show at Splashplay Pod. Back tomorrow with more. And hey, for Jeremy, here's a new dag. This is you, actually. This is fucking your face. See you guys tomorrow. Enjoy your days and good luck. Bye-bye.